times.
All right, boys. So we have a lot going on. I'm very anxious. I hope you boys are anxious too, so it's not just me.
Oh, I'm so anxious.
Because we're going through a lot of changes right now, and the next few weeks are going to be crazy. The next few months are going to be crazy. But I just want you both to know from the top of the show that I appreciate you so much, okay? That this has been awesome, and we're going to keep this train rolling.
Chugga.
For as long as we possibly can. But yes, I appreciate you both, and I am looking forward to continuing the show with you.
I appreciate you both as well, but also mostly Seth, because he said it first.
Even as we go through these changes and we get a little hairier and we get a little hormonal over time, I think we'll all make it through this together all in one piece, maybe with a couple more pimples, but our podcast will still be ideal.
So speaking about appreciating each other and also appreciating the third-party creators out there in different systems, how about Monster of the Week, baby?
Woo, woo, woo. I like it.
So this past week, we played our first session together of Monster of the Week. Back in college, I played one session of Monster of the Week as well, but I forgot everything about it. And coming back to it, it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I listened to the McElroy brothers. I believe it was their Amnesty series where they played in Monster of the Week. I didn't listen to the entirety of it, but yeah, I liked the idea of it back then. I had. Honestly, I talked about it a little bit last week in my solo episode, but I had some of just the most fun. Like, I haven't had a fresh look at DMing in a while. Like, I've been DMing the same system, the same games for so long that, like, sitting down and doing this, I felt giddy, like, while we were playing. I was like, I'm just having so much fun right now.
No, I had an absolute blast, but I do want to backtrack to Zach for just a moment because he said he's played only once before. To me, if I had to guess, you would have played like 10 times before because your character felt all-powerful. The whole time, I feel like if there was a situation we were in, I was like, oh, Zach will get us out of this.
Because Zach got creative.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing about Monster of the Week for those of you listening who've only played D&D, because this is a D&D podcast. So Monster of the Week is very free-form in sort of the way you describe how things happen. We're not as beholden to, like, initiative necessarily, so... And like the power is all very vague. So you're at liberty to describe, I would like to do something, and you can roll for it. And if you succeed, you succeed. So there's one action that I've globbed onto both times I've played Monster of the Week because this is where you start having fun. And it's use magic. There are no spells in Monster of the Week. There aren't rules for how it works, really. You can choose to use magic. And if the keeper, that's what the DM's called, allows it, which usually the answer is always yes, then you roll for it and you see what happens. And they give you a list of what are common things that a spell could do, just to sort of like gauge the level of power there. And then if it's something beyond that, then it's probably like big magic. But the things that they say are fairly vague, like you do something beyond normal human limitations. Okay, well, that's almost anything. So in any case...
I jump.
Yeah. So I was playing, in our session, I was the initiate, and so they have a decent magic stat. And so I didn't intend to just jump in and start casting a bunch of magic, but I thought, well, no one else can do this. So
and it was fun that, I assume your character had tried things like this before, and maybe it's just the place you're in, the certain spot, like where his magic actually starts working. But like, I assume that Kyle was not expecting for his magic to just work.
No. So in my mind, he absolutely was, but it's never worked before. and so the reason why it worked, I'm thinking, so Kyle Schmidt was he's the initiate, so you have to be a part of a secret society. I decided that he's devoted himself to the Knights Templar and like their ancient lore and all the ways that they used to like cast magic in sort of like a holy sort of way. So I did stick to like in my theming. All right, these are things that clerics and paladins do, but I imagine that it's all about like belief and faith more than anything else. So he thought that he could do it, and therefore he could in that moment because he was so confident. And we just so happened to be fighting ghosts, which holy magic is great against.
Yes.
So
I really wanted your character because it came across as a little bit of a weeb. I really wanted him to do some sort of hand jutsu.
What's that
to
supposed
get
to mean?
Well, I mean, maybe he watches some sort of TV shows. I don't know.
well, yeah. So let's sort of get into the characters that we had, and I think in this episode we're sort of divulging sort of what happened in the session. So,
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit last week. More so, I want to talk about Monster of the Week as a whole. We don't have to like run through the entire session because I talked about that last week.
Gotcha.
But what I would really like to talk about is your guys' experience with the game and what you thought of it.
Well, yeah. So in any case, they do give you these specific character archetypes to stick to, but I think we all did a good job of sort of bending the mold of like, okay, yeah, you're the initiate, but my character Kyle was definitely like a weeb. So he's an initiate of a secret society, but
like a weeb who believes the anime is real.
Yeah, he's like this 17-year-old kid. He's got a claymore that he got from the Renaissance Festival.
A real sword. A kid with a real sword.
Yeah, he's decked out in like sports gear for protection, and melded with cosplay and sweatpants because that's what's effective and comfortable. And then he's also got a real ass crossbow. But I'm just thinking he's like he's a Kyle. He's very just passionate about some weird shit. And but he was fairly burly for what he was. I think
Well, he works out to be an anime character.
Yeah, absolutely. Because no one else is going to protect people from ghosts and ghoulies except for Kyle.
I just imagine Kyle lunging at some ghosts just with his sword, just going right through them and doing absolutely nothing.
Okay, why don't we also talk about your class, Drew, and Thomas Wilson Clark?
Oh, TWC, man. Oh, TWC.
Time Warner Cable.
What a man. First of all, Time Warner Cable.
I didn't even think about
I should have
All
called
I
him.
thought was TWC Arena.
I should have named him Spectrum just for fun. But no, I had a blast. I didn't know how to fill or break the mold per se, because I'm very much so a tabletop rookie, which, I mean, you guys have a little more experience than I do, but definitely had no idea what I was getting into as far as Monster of the Week. I had an idea it was a simpler system, it was a little less complex, but the character I made was literally like, which one should I pick? And Zach's like, hey, mundane sounds cool. I'm like, hey, that's a normal type Pokemon. Let's go with that.
Literally.
So I started with that, which it's basically this guy who doesn't have any crazy magical abilities, just because I'm playing a wizard right now. I want something a little more, I guess melee, if you will, but he didn't do any melee sort of thing. A little more normal, a little normie, if you will.
And he was a skeptic.
Yeah, he was a skeptic. So he starts out as the business salesman of Ghost X, our company that we work for, which is basically just a complete scam. We're selling snake oil is what it is. So we're traveling
You're like
around.
exterminators or like people who spray down for bugs.
Yeah, we were ghost fumigators.
Yeah, ghost fumigators, exactly.
For the supernatural. So we show up to these places and we're like, oh yeah, definitely ghosts in here. And so we just spray water all over their house with nothing in it. You read the back, which actually came up later. This bottle had the ingredients. It just said 100% water on the back. Maybe,
Real water.
Maybe
100% real water. You can't say it's not.
Organic water. Ooh. But yeah, it was really fun. So we go in and we start spraying down the house, and it was a really cool character concept. I liked the idea of just being really silly. But I was super concerned when we jumped into this because Seth told us off the bat, it's like, hey, this isn't necessarily going to be a silly story. Like, it's going to be kind of serious, and I'm making it set up for you guys so you could solve this mystery. And all of us are like, yeah, let's go sell water to people. Let's just
played
jump
off
into
like
it.
a goofy horror movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, like, if any of you guys had gotten stabbed from the back and ripped through a door and, like, dead, it wouldn't have been weird. Like, for the session, the way it was going, like, oh, ha, 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 that's funny with Stuart. Dead. Like, that wouldn't have been out of place. But you guys rolled so well. Like, I had watched this session a little, like, before. I watched the Dungeon Dudes run this session. And literally, like, all of them almost died. In the session, and like you guys you played really well and you rolled really well. Like I was doing like little telekinetic things here and there, like every now and then something would just pick up and throw itself at you, about to inflict like 1 or 2 harm on you. And every time it was like, oh yeah, every time you throw something at me, oh, that's a 10+, I catch it. Done. Like, I mean, I was very happy with the result because I thought we were all having a really good time with that.
Yeah, and what I'll say is in this session, though it was goofy, we did hit that horror movie element. and I think, Seth, you achieved the DM holy grail, in my opinion, which was you actually made it a little spooky. Like, we were sitting at the session, and Seth describes, across the room, you see in the reflection on the microwave, there's a woman's face, and then I look to the side at the cabinet behind Seth in the corner of the room, and I'm like,
real life.
ooh, yeah, exactly, in real life. Yeah, and just for a second, I was like, "Ooh, what if there was a spooky face there?" Oh. And then, and I was fully bought in to, okay, yeah, I'm this silly, goofy character, but you said something was a knife was lifted and then thrown across the room, and I did what any logical person would do, and I jumped out the window
and you left us alone.
I went to get my weapons,
and you rolled perfectly because I was going to slam the window on you and catch you there.
Yeah, that would have fucking sucked.
And so I was going to have the window slam and catch you, and then all of a sudden, like, you guys have to figure out how to stop this. But you jumped out just in time, and then the whole like toynado thing happened. I named the move that the kid ghost did, the toynado.
The toynado.
Yeah. And so like they spin a bunch of stuff around the room, and like it just starts bashing into you, except you were in the kitchen, so it was like a plate NATO.
Plate NATO. It's like the plate armor from our old one-off where it was just plates.
Yeah.
But I will say very quickly,
Go ahead.
as far as the immersion, Zach said he was pretty spooked. I was definitely very spooked. I didn't think about it until just this moment. First of all, I was very scared, but looking back, the only time I can compare to that kind of a scary experience was actually when Zach was running Salt Marsh and we were in that haunted mansion.
Oh yeah,
that was terrifying.
And like the alchemist skeleton came out or whatever.
Yeah,
that
he was like
cool.
like a skeleton alchemy wizard guy, and all the skeletons had like these gilding on them. I felt like we were gonna get murdered in a second. That was spooky.
Well, and I've never run anything that's going for spooky vibes. I'm always very much along like the Marvel movie vibe, where like I want you guys to feel like superheroes, right? I want us to go through the trials and tribulations that heroes go through, right? So I never really go for the spooky vibe. I don't think I've ever run a spooky session. What did you guys think though? So what I did something that I've never done, which is I took the camera away from the players at the beginning, and I did like the whole rundown of what happened the night before, and then zoomed in on like you guys in your car and let you describe your car and who was driving and everything. How did you guys feel about like the whole like situation in the beginning, where I told my story, where I ran us through everything, and then, cut over to you?
It definitely gave me, like, the vibe, which I think Monster of the Week is going for, where it's, like, a serialized TV show. This is the start of the episode. Like,
yes.
I felt like it was, Criminal Minds or Scooby-Doo, where, like, they show you the monster's doing something spooky, and then we cut back to our heroes, and Shaggy's eating a whole sandwich hole.
Whole sandwich hole.
And Kyle Schmidt's sitting in the back of the car reading out notes from his
the New Knights Templar book.
Yeah, that he printed off
the Templar
online, where it's just loose leaf paper basically.
No, I agree. I liked it. It very much so felt like the introduction of a TV show for sure. It set us up nicely, and we had all kind of agreed on what we were doing prior. So instead of just making a bunch of 5e characters and then trying to mash it up, or like, oh, all of a sudden you're just in this tavern, what happens, right? It was established. This is who we are. We're all working for Ghost X. And then you perfectly narrated a cinematic moment of how we got there, gave us our backstory, and then we jumped right into a new game, which was, I think, a little less intimidating than like, this is my new character for this new game that I've never played, and he's got cool hair and a cool jacket. It definitely it made me feel better going into it for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a whole lot. Like that was work I didn't have to do, but that like I had a couple extra hours at the beginning. I was like, I'm gonna type up like a nice introduction for this. And I think for the following sessions that would close us out on the arc that I have planned, I would like to do that for all of them. Be like, before we get to the next hunt, do that, and then we cut back to the end of the session where you guys were getting pulled over.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
So, like, okay, we don't start with, last time you guys did this, and that, and then you were getting... And no, I would run through the whole excerpt for what's going to happen next, and then cut over, and also our heroes are here.
We're so getting arrested. 100% we're getting arrested by these police officers.
I'm very excited because I wasn't planning to arrest you guys at the end, but I thought of what I wanted to do right at the end of the session and went, I'm doing that. I went right for it.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but Kyle's got a couple of ideas, and some of them involve casting magic on police officers. So
that's a good idea.
We'll see how that, it might go well.
So, the Monster of the Week system overall, though, I know, Drew, you had some gripes about it that we talked about before. I want to start from my perspective first. One, what I love it for is a very, very, very specific vibe. Like, I am not going to be playing Monster of the Week every week for 52 weeks of the year. That's just not going to happen. But what it is great for is like, oh man, I have this, like, maybe I travel somewhere new, right? And I see a really cool building and I'm like, man, that looks like a layer of some sort or something like that. Or like I do a tour in whatever country and I'm like, oh man, that would be a really cool place to have a D&D adventure. And I could actually look it up and I could see the history of like what goes on in this town and like make a cool Monster of the Week thing on it. Like, you know, really relating it to real world things and real world topics, because it's like, oh, I can run these cool monsters in 2023, like these really cool adventures. So I really like the thought of like having stuff take place in our world, and there's just not a whole lot of ways to do that. So Monster of the Week is a really fun way to like just experiment with it. It's not something I'm going to do all the time because realistically, I play games to escape the real world, but it is cool to play a character that has some cool powers in our world, or like play these situations as if creatures, like mythical creatures, were real. So, and then as far as like the rolling system and everything, I like the simplicity of it because it's not something that I'm going to be doing all the time. If it was a full new, like gigantic book system, I probably wouldn't have read it in the first place. But because it's so simple, like with just 2d6s and that's what determines your rules, and I get to decide what happens based on creativity, I just had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think we discussed this after the session, but I feel strongly that Monster of the Week is like the best TTRPG to get someone into playing a TTRPG. Because as opposed to D&D, where there's just so many mechanics and you're not quite sure, well, can I do that? Or like, you know, you think, oh, I can do anything. So I'll describe, I'll run over to that guy and then I'll dodge the next guy's attack. And, well, no. We'll see what happens. You'll roll for it. But in Monster of the Week, it's pretty much, you say what you want to do, and it's going to happen. And then we'll roll to see, all right, you do it, but there's some consequences, or no, you do it really well, or you get over 12, so now it's like a nat 20, and, you know, you even get something a little extra on top. So I think in that sense, you know, it's easy to get newer players.
It is very friendly, and it's for us who are experienced players, too, it's very casual for us. Like, oh, you know what? You guys want to have some drinks and play a game of Monster of the Week instead of going through all this D&D session? Like, hey, it's a Friday. Sean can't play this week. You guys just want to come over and have some beers and hang out?
For sure.
Like, I would do that, for real.
Yeah, and the stakes could never be lower when you're playing Monster of the Week. Like, it seems fairly easy to die, and we definitely got by on some really good rolls, but you only have 8 points of damage that you can take until you're dead. And, like, there's no saving throws, no nothing, you're dead. But character creation takes like 5 minutes. So
yeah, now that you guys know the rules, you can go through any of those classes, read through their abilities, and go, that sounds fun, and just cross off the ones you want, and you're done.
I gotta say that may have been one of my favorite things about it, just because I spend so long making characters or thinking through sessions that I'm trying to run. It just takes forever, and it honestly sometimes turns into a bit of a chore. It's like, oh, we're doing a one-off this week. I have to make a new character, blah, blah. But with Monster of the Week, it's easy peasy. It was easy enough in that 30 minutes to just sit with you guys, relax, hang out, and come up with like a funny story for who we are.
Yeah, and like we shot the shit for a lot of that. Like, just had fun and hung out.
No, I had a blast with it. It definitely very intimidating, but I really liked the game. My main takeaway, as silly as it sounds from this game, was that we rolled 2d6 the whole game. Which, you know, it was interesting. It was cool. You know, I like using great swords. You know, they're great and all. It was just super weird. I brought my D20 and I was just looking at it the whole game, like, when do I get to roll you? When am I going to roll this D20? It felt very strange to me. Not necessarily even in a bad way per se. It just felt like I was cheating on D&D. I was like, what's happening? Why am I rolling 2d6?
And realistically, because like we've decided to go out and experiment a little bit, like a lot of TTRPGs are just different versions of D6s. Like, Blades in the Dark is different numbers of D6s with a whole different system. Fate Core runs on D6s. Let's see, we got Monster of the Week. We've got most of like the whatever Apocalypse, blah blah. A lot of TTRPGs are not D20 based systems. Like, your main two are Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons and their offshoots. Like, those are your D20 based systems. I mean, there are others, of course, but like, those are the main ones. And there are plenty of other systems out there, a lot of stuff that you can find. But yeah, a lot of it runs on D6s, as I've learned lately. And The big thing I like is that means anything can happen. Like, that means you tell me what happens and we make a cool story out of it together. As opposed to, hey, I need you to roll for survival. Well, you don't really find anything. Or like, hey, I need you to, like, it is, as much as I love getting down to the nitty gritty in D&D, I do love the creative outlet as well. So I think there's a place for both of them, especially at our tables, where we do this a lot because we like it so much.
Right. I would almost say, like, when you're playing D&D, you think about what you want to do before the session even starts with, you define your character's capabilities on the character sheet and, oh, well, I'm out of spells. We're shit out of luck, guys.
Like, I'm casting Fireball. Just Fireball,
Yeah, but with Monster of the Week, it's really down to the last hit point or harm that you can take. You've still got, all of your capabilities and you've got all of your creativity and anything that you think you can feasibly do, you can try to get out of this situation. So that's nice. And even, if it doesn't say it on your character sheet, well, you can still try and talk to that animal. Like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was neat to see all the situations we came in, just because it was such a new setting. It being set in modern day, we were nearby. We were like a state over in a town investigating this mystery. So it was very neat seeing us. Towards the end of the game, I was sitting there thinking, we've been using our phones, which that's new. We have phones, first of all. Chase was thinking about actually recording things, which was a great idea, recording the ghosts that we were hunting and seeing all the things happen. So that way we actually have something to show the police officers when they pull us over, But that was super neat. I just love the idea of, like, we could flip a switch and all the lights are on. It's like, oh, do you have dark vision? Well, we just flipped the light switch on. Why would you have dark? That doesn't make any sense. It's just super simple.
I should have had the mirror mother, like, when one of you guys looked into your phones, like, reach out of it. How cool would that
absolutely
have been?
Not. Nope.
That would have been the best.
But you never pulled yours out, and she liked Chase. So, it wouldn't have made much sense.
Yeah.
And she couldn't get to you because you were in your stupid circle.
Well, and I would never pull my phone out during an important mission.
No, of course not. But no, that was... I did like being able to play around with it that way, get really creative with it, get into the heads of these, like, creatures and see how they would actually react. Because I didn't feel like they would outwardly maliciously kill unless they needed to. Otherwise... yeah, if you were caught in the crossfire of them doing something, like the good ghosts at least, would kill and wouldn't really care because they're ghosts.
Yeah, they did kill Joseph.
Well, because he was being rude to Amy.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
So yeah, this one ghost kills one of the guys, blah blah blah, and then there's the bad ghost downstairs. So overall, I had a great experience with Monster of the Week. I would highly recommend it to anybody who is just like wants a fun, chill game to get people into tabletop RPG. Maybe you haven't been able to convince your family or your siblings or your friends yet, and it's like, hey guys, I know that D&D was a lot when we tried to play it that one time. I've got this one game. It'll take us like 30 minutes to make characters. Everybody just I'll sit down with you. We'll make like some characters really quick, and I've got a little scenario I want to run through. It's like Supernatural. Like, you ever watch Supernatural? It's like that. So getting people into TTRPGs is hard as it is. So trying out Monster of the Week is not a bad idea, especially if, like, your friends like horror movies.
I feel extremely confident that if I really wanted to play a tabletop with somebody and I brought this game up, I could get a group of people to play it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, too. Like, D&D is a commitment. Like, you say, hey, do you want to play D&D? Someone who doesn't know, they say, oh, sure. All right, so when do you want to meet to play? Oh, well, first we got to meet to make your character. And so we'll do that first. So let's say we'll make your character tomorrow, and then...
It's going to take about an hour and a half.
Yeah, and then we'll play the game next week. What? What are you talking about?
Monster of the Week, you give them the playbook, and you go, this is your character sheet. Choose, like, here's the stats I would recommend. You just go ahead and fill it in for them, and then say, I just need you to choose 3 abilities. Done. It's over.
But even so, the stats are so... It is nothing like D&D where you look at your character sheet and it's got, you have your AC and your initiative and all your saving throws, but your saving throws are different than your skill checks and this and then the bonus and blah, 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 blah. There's like 5 numbers. It was like charm, cool, sharp, things like that. And all of them were either zeros, -1, +1, +2. That was pretty much max. It was super, super simple.
Yeah, max is +3. You can't go above that.
Which is so much easier than getting like a plus 17 if you have a legendary weapon, but then also is it magical? Also, is it enhanced in some way? Oh, do you have cover? Is it an advantage? It's literally the DM tells you exactly what you're going to roll because you say what you're going to do it, and there's 5 little circles, and as long as you could look at one of those 5 circles and pick what number that is, you're good to go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, and even talking about like class or character features, I think mine only had like 4 total, so not a whole lot to keep track of there either.
Yeah, it's like, oh, can I do this ability now? Absolutely, you can. Did you ever use your like future sight thing?
Yeah, I did. So as a part of the initiate, I had my fortunes that I took. So in my prep for the mission, I was doing all my research, and it lets you pick a number of different things that you can basically have foretold. So you can either like show up at the last minute to help someone out, or you can stop an attack from happening. By like after it's happened by we retcon and I saw that happening, and so I tell you at the last second, hey Duck, he's gonna hit you in the head or something. And then the one that I did use is have a useful item handy when you didn't have it before, and so Kyle was prepared with his handy dandy crucifix to banish the bad ghost when we went down into the basement. So,
which I gotta say, some of those very simple moves to pick, they were super fun. Like you had all those which were super fun. I had one where it was called Oops, and I could like find something randomly in the room.
That worked out so well.
It's so fun. There's nothing complicated. It's not like you have to be within a certain aura. It's just this happens.
And it made it feel like a cheesy episode of Supernatural where you just happen upon the MacGuffin.
Oh my gosh. I really had a blast, and I look forward to playing it again to see like if there are other moves that maybe work better together or whatnot. But even so, there's not like a ton of synergy or options there. It's just what do you think your character would do, or what would be cool if you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely like to try out some of the other characters too, because there seems to just be like a lot of great flavor in how they choose to describe things. It's very evocative of like your Oops feature. That's like, oh yeah, Shaggy would do that. I guess he's the mundane. Or you've got the Flake, which was Chase's character, and he's the super paranoid. I mean, I'd say also sort of a stonery type character who like, oh yeah, don't worry, man, I got my buddy online. Let me give him a call real quick.
That was so funny. He called the local librarian,
Sheila.
Yeah, Sheila. Hey, hi, dearie. Anything I can help you with?
Yeah, Sheila, I need you to look up this the town records on this house.
Oh, it's up. Oh, it's updating to Windows 11. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, because he rolled a 7. So.
Yeah, he rolled a 7, so he had to wait a little bit. Oh, my computer's updating. I click remind me later, but today's the day. It was so stupid.
All right, I'll just call you back, Sheila.
I'm in a life-threatening situation. You're updating your computer. Oh, it just feels like the right time.
Okay.
Which I think I want to say he rolled lower on that, which is why it took her so long to get back to us and she had to update her computer.
7.
I don't know, maybe I missed this, but did we touch on the luck points yet? Because the luck points were one of my favorite parts of this game.
Yeah.
Which was when you think luck points, if you know anything about D&D, which I assume you do because you're listening to our podcast, luck points in 5e are you get 3 it's a feat. You have 3 of them, and if something happens to you as far as an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you're able to re-roll it, basically, and you have to use the new roll. So it's the ability to really quick re-roll something and hope you get better, right? In this game, it is not that at all. It is way more fun, much more powerful, but also kind of, I guess, complex or dooming. We'll say a little foreshadowing there. You get 7 of these things, right? At the beginning of not the session, but the overall game. So if you play for
the campaign, the arc, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call your overarching, the mystery, the adventure, right? Whatever you want to call it, you get 7 of these things. I think no matter what class you are, and sometimes they get affected, but you start off with 7, right? You use one of these luck points, I believe, even after you roll, and you could choose to have maximum roll 12, which is an automatic success. Correct. It's a natural 20. So you could choose to do this up to 7 times. So if you want to have your really cool character moment, you don't have to roll and hope it works. Like, for example, I think Divination Wizard, because I'm a Divination Wizard in a campaign, but Zach, your character was very about like the foretelling the future where you got to have that one moment where you saw things. To me, if you want your character to be themed around something like that, you can use your luck point right before you do something really cool, and for sure it goes off. It definitely happens, and you have that really cool, heroic, special moment where your character really has a nice moment at the table. So you get 7 of those, all 7. But the little backstab is if you use your 7th one, you're considered doomed. So if you're doomed, Seth, I believe you pretty much you're dead, or you're dying, you're in
dead,
a terrible state.
But whenever you get consequences, they are worse than the people who are not doomed. So say if Zach normally takes 3 harm from a creature whenever it fights back, you're probably going to take like 5 or 6. So given that, you can withstand maybe 2 attacks.
Yeah, and I like to think of that as a character on a show. You know, they've had their arc. They had a lot of good things going for them, but eventually everyone's luck runs out, and when that happens, well, then it's time to kill off a character.
Yeah.
And so that's it's just really cool thematically.
Yeah, I like it, and especially it also provides just a bit of utility, so that way, you know, if you are having a really bad night, you're not rolling well, you're on your last hit before your character dies, you can churn out some luck points to make sure they do not die.
Yeah, and what's really nice about it is, as opposed to 5e, I think the most similar thing, even more than their luck points, is inspiration, where you have a system for handing out, okay, well, you can turn a failure into a success, you can use it at your discretion, or, you know, there's a bunch of class features that do similar things. As opposed to that, I love having the consequence attached to it. And, you know, the DM doesn't have to hand these things out to you. You just, everyone has 7 luck points, and it works the same for everyone.
Yeah.
It really makes me think of, for anyone that's watched Supernatural out there, it makes me think of the episode where, I want to say it was Lady Luck or something, but they were...
Natural.
Yeah, what a good episode.
Dude, I think about that episode all the time.
Didn't Fred or Shaggy break
Shaggy
his arm?
broke his arm.
He broke his arm. That was crazy.
It was black and blue, and his arm was like 90 degrees. It was crazy.
Yikes.
It was so good.
But not that episode. There was another episode of Supernatural where they're actually gambling for luck. Like, luck is a real thing. Like, it's like almost like a magical, what do you call it? Like a magical effect on people. So these people, they go to this casino where they gamble for luck, and if you win, you get more luck in your life. So you go through your life, and, you know, maybe you get into the college that you want, or maybe you get a sudden raise because something happened. But there are people that go there when they might have everything and want to have even more, and they get too greedy, and they become just like, not only destitute, because it's not about money, right? It's about this luck. So they get super down luck, like their loved one might get hit by a car, or like their house collapses or stuff. Like, it's really, it was really, really good
Well,
episode.
it's lucky depending on how you think about it.
Yeah, just like good time to use that luck point, huh? But that was a really cool one.
Okay, well, yeah, I had a ton of fun with Monster of the Week. I can't wait to run it again. I'd like to use the same group and finish out the little arc I have planned. Not sure if we'll get to do another session before I leave, but if we do, I'd be very excited. But I'd like to do a bit of a transition here. And I was gonna say a couple of other things, but I've actually decided I want to do a bit of a news update. Because one, I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise very, very consistently lately because I'm going to basic training. By the time the viewer is hearing this episode, I will be actively in basic training.
Hunting real monsters.
Hunting real monsters.
Wow. And we thought we were just playing Monster of the Week for fun.
I was training. So I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise, which is a very like chill game because none of the story matters. Like, you go into this game and like every sentence that the characters say is gamified. They're like, oh yeah, and you can go to the Buddy Plaza over there to upgrade your Palico.
Yeah, I don't. Is there even a story in the more
vaguely?
Oh, okay.
So like there's a vague story like, oh, this is a village we've all lived in forever, and there's a rampage going on, and we've got to solve the rampage. So yeah, there's a monster uprising. Let's kill them all.
There you go.
So yeah, that's the basic gist, and it's a ton of fun. I've been just kind of playing it because I wanted to play Persona 3 Portable, and I was like, I can't start Persona 3 Portable, get like 30 hours in, and then leave, and then have to come back in 3 months and finish it. So I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise on Game Pass because it just came out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and it was already out on Nintendo Switch, but it's out on modern consoles, and it's available on Game Pass. So I've been playing it, and let me tell you that the act of like going into the world and like literally being like, okay, I can see on the minimap, like I know where this monster is actively located. I need to make my way over to where it's located, figure out how it fights, what its fighting style is, go against it a couple of times. It's going to run away to a different part of the map. Now, some of the systems they have are really cool. I like it when two monsters run across each other. Because they come across each other and they don't just like walk past each other. They get mad at each other and they start to fight. And now you're the third party to their fight. So these two monsters start to fight each other, and they have this really cool system in Rise called Wyvern riding. So you're able to, I don't know why they just call it Wyvern riding, because none of them are wyverns, at least so far. But
well, the Rathalos is a wyvern eventually.
So basically you can run up to them, and if you attack them while you down them, you can ride the monster and use it to fight the other monster like Pokemon.
Ooh.
And that's really fun.
Yeah, so like the monster attacks you and you can like evade to the side and go in with one of your attacks, and you get like a couple of attacks you can use with the monster.
Yeah.
And so you do that until your meter runs out, and then you use like the monster's ultimate ability on your monster. Then the monster you were riding runs away, and you keep fighting the one that's left behind. But it's a really cool function, and I've just been having a blast playing this game. Now, what sucks is the combat mechanics are nothing like Souls games, which is what I want. I want it to feel like a Souls game combat-wise, where I'm like dodging and hitting a couple of times and dodging and then blocking and dodging. It's nothing like that. Every single weapon in the game is like is like having a completely different build in a Souls game, or like it's like you've completely changed your character just by changing your weapon. So I started out with first of all, I tried the longsword, which is supposed to be like the most friendly and getting used to like the best, like the most friendly weapon in the game. I started using it, couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Like I read through like the weapon controls and was like, I don't really get it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to switch. So I tried one of the most difficult items to use in the game, the insect glaive.
Insect glaive?
So it's a glaive, and you also have a little POW insect on your arm that you can send out to go attack the monster and bring buffs back to you. Ooh. So you send out your little companion, it goes and gets a buff, brings it back, and that determines how your glaive fights. So then you can, this weapon, it can either be used on the ground or in the air. And obviously I'm going with airborne combat. So you use these things called like wire bugs, which are like grappling hooks, throw yourself up in the air. And now I can use my glaive to like air dodge around and then fall down and hit the monster over and over again and like go back up. And as long as I have stamina left, I can air dodge again, come back and hit them. And so I'm just flying through the air doing this to the monster, like attacking one after another without hitting the ground until my stamina bar runs out. And I was like, man, this is super cool. I'm having a blast. Then I watched a tier list online about all of the different weapons, and this was in C tier. And I was like, I feel like an anime character. I'm like, I'm never hit the ground. I'm throwing myself around. And they were like, yeah, well, realistic, like that's pretty much all you do though. Once you do it, you get used to it. That's all. That's it. You've done it all. So I had figured out my combo really early and was like, oh, that's the only combo.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
And so then I switched to the bow, which is supposed to be a really fun ranged option, but it's not. It's like very mid-range. I've kind of figured out the bow, but I kind of haven't figured out the bow at this point, where like you're pretty much just firing shots. The second the monster tries to come at you, you have to evade perfectly. Then your bow charges up and you can get a power shot off, and it's pretty cool because you're close enough to the monster to like actually get hit when you're shooting it. So all I'm trying to say is very interesting game. I've never really gotten into a monster hunting game before, but yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah, and honestly, I've only ever played one Monster Hunter game, and that was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on the Wii U. Represent. And I love playing Monster Hunter, but I think maybe around like the 30-hour mark, you'll hit the point where it's like, this is just a grind, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have never gotten sick of playing Monster Hunter. Like I've picked it up a few separate times, and every time I do, I just fall right back into it. But I just can't consistently play one game for the rest of my life. So
Drew could though.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, Drew, you would love Monster Hunter.
Which it's funny because I've only ever heard things about Monster Hunter, and I have a good deal of friends that have played it. I've never played it myself, but I always think about Dauntless. If you've ever played Dauntless, it makes me think of Monster Hunter, which from my understanding, it's very similar.
Yes. Monster Hunter is better. I've played both. Monster Hunter is more fleshed out and fun.
It sounds like it because I definitely played Dauntless for like 3 hours. Like, yeah, I got all my fun out of this. I don't want to play this anymore. But as far as the weapons, that's exactly what I was thinking about was Dauntless. Was you start off with this little sword that you can slash. Like, that's kind of boring. You get an axe where it's like slow-mo hits, all that, and then all of a sudden you have like these hyper flame fists. Like, where did that come from? Similar to the sword to an insect glaive. It's like, where are they getting these weapons from? Just making them up.
They've got some weird weapons in Monster Hunter, like the charge blade or like whatever. And they have like the gun lance. Things like
gun
that.
lance.
Gun lance sounds cool and it looks cool, but apparently it's hard to master and not that fun. But like all of the weapons are great.
Yeah, my favorite back on the Wii U was the Switch axe, which is
yeah.
It's just a great axe, and then it switches out into a great sword. So like the axe just does so much damage, but it's so slow to use. But then you can swap it into a great sword, and then all of a sudden you've got like these long sweeping attacks, but they're a lot more nimble, so you can switch between the two depending on what you're fighting.
Yeah, I think it's so funny you just swap it and it fights entirely different, even though you're just flipping the blade over.
Apparently the sword is a lot better.
Yeah.
Like it's just better to stay on the sword most of the time and then switch to the axe if you need it.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that at all because I like axes.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about that as like a design for a magic item in D&D for the longest time. I've been waiting for a good opportunity to bring it up.
Yeah, it's a very fun game. I like Monster Hunter. The Sunbreak stuff is going to get added in soon, which is the expansion. And I was like, maybe I'll play some of it. We'll see. But the monster designs are really getting me where I'm like, oh, man, these are good D&D monsters. Like, these are all really good D&D monsters.
Oh, for sure.
There was like this water-based lion creature where like as I fought him and he got hurt, he got like dehydrated, like his mane got a lot smaller and his body got a lot more like pale. And when he ran away from me, he ran over to a waterfall in another section of the area and like was putting his head in it to try to like regen himself. And then I come out of nowhere and keep hunting him down. And he's like, oh no. And then I started attacking him. He once again ran off into a cave down towards a stream and tried to put his head in the stream and couldn't get away from me. So I killed him.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Monster Hunter 2 is they all have like interesting behavior.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you are a DM and you're just trying to like up your game of, okay, well, let me not just make this big monster a sack of hit points. Think about, okay, well, what are the things that this animal does when it's not trying to kill someone?
Yeah. But yeah, that was my one big like news update for the week because I was like, man, I've been enjoying the heck out of this, but I really want to play Persona 3. Like, I can't wait to dip like 90 hours into that game.
And look at that. No Sonic the Hedgehog, boys. None of it. Only Monster Hunter.
I got a Sonic
story.
No,
do it. No, you can't. No, you've already given the news.
Next one.
Catch us next week on TableTalk Friday. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. How are you boys doing?
I'm a little thrown off that you asked me the end of the episode, Seth. Normally you're supposed to ask me right in the beginning, so you kind of threw me for a loop here. But I'm feeling pretty good, living my life. I got back from a fun little meeting today, a business meeting. That was pretty cool, working exports. And there was a guy presenting. I told Seth this story briefly before we started. There was a guy presenting, and he was telling us all about, how supply chain works and trucks and all, all the boring supply chain stuff I'm not going to tell you guys about. And so as he's sitting there, he's, these older gentlemen, and he's telling this presentation off of someone else's laptop that's at the front of the room. And so at a certain point, like anyone who's ever been in a school where a teacher has something up on the board and it pops up, like, you have to charge your laptop, or, it's dying, or something. You have to close something before you can proceed with the presentation, right? So that happens. And so the gentleman in the back of the room goes, oh, I have to go fix this for him. And so he runs up to the front of the room, right? And he's like, I'm going to handle that. And he starts reaching for the laptop to fix it. And might I preface, before I tell you what this man says, we're in a perfectly professional setting, right? Everyone has, suit and tie, looking very, buttoned up, looking clean. It's a very formal setting here. There's no curse words being said. We're all being our fake customer service selves to one another, right? And as he reaches for the laptop, the speaker, a very prestigious individual in this community, goes, oh, what does this say, Pornhub? And the entire room erupts in laughter. I was the first one laughing and the last one laughing. That sums up my day, Seth. That's how my day went.
I'm doing great. Nothing to report. We're actually recording back at Zach's place today because we were working late all week, so that's been fun. But I think recording this episode has made it all worth it. I'm fully rejuvenated, and I could run a mile right now.
That says a lot because you were on fire about an hour ago. That fire truck drove by.
Yeah, as you guys were pulling up, there was a fire truck outside, so good thing it wasn't me.
I'm glad you ran fast enough.
I gotta say, it's the first time we've taken like a long walk together in a while. You know, we went on our little date.
It was kind of romantic.
Yeah, it was very romantic, and we only kissed a little bit. And it's sentimental to me that it's probably not going to happen. Like, it hasn't happened in a while, but like if it's going to happen again, it'll be years down the line.
It does remind me of those late night moonlit walks at our college campus. Holding hands, hoping the stars twinkle just in the right way. But you know what would have made that walk just a little bit better, Seth? Just a little bit better?
What?
If we had good old Gamer there with us walking along.
The
man.
GOAT. Good old Gamer,
what a goat, dude.
Shout out to Good Old Gamer, our producer, Eric, because he's been killing the game. He comments on every single episode. Every single one. Can you believe that?
Every single one, man.
And we also have some new patrons. So thank you to those of you that have joined in on the Patreon over this past week. It's been awesome that even in like our most
crazy times.
Yeah, our craziest, most uncertain times, like the show has started to push forward even a little bit more, where it's like, geez, how dare you, right? How dare you make us feel good about our show whenever we have so much going on? But thank you for joining us on Patreon, where you can find like our post shows, all the extra content that we do every week, because it means a lot. It's really helpful. It keeps us honestly doing the show, because with all the stuff that's been going on, it's been like, geez, are we going to be able to get one out this week? Well, it's okay if we skip a week. Well, we've never done it before, so we're not doing it now. We've had a lot of those conversations, and it's been awesome that we've kept up traction along that time. Well, and with that, let's go ahead and and head out on this one, boys. Thank you so much for listening to Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast. Well, a tabletop RPG podcast, now that we've talked about another game, Monster of the Week. You can find us on many other platforms right now. We're not really uploading on YouTube Shorts or TikTok or any of those, or Twitter. I haven't posted on there in a while because it's busy and I'm about to go off to basic. But nonetheless, thank you for listening to the show. Where you can find us is patreon.com/TableTalkFriday, where we put on content all the time. I'm putting out stuff every single week. You're probably getting a lot of solo episodes of me just talking post-show wise about this time, and they're probably great. I have a talent for speaking to myself for 30 minutes straight, and I will continue to do it. So thank you guys for heading over there, listening to that content, and getting all the bevy of benefits you get on Patreon. But with that, I need the Mirror Mother to take me out.
Ooh, I never said a word except help me in the session, but if you ever listen to what I had to say, this is what I would sound like. Ooh. And in any case, none of you care about that. I hope you had a good episode today. And if you're lucky, you might see me in the mirror behind you tonight. Ooh, that might be spooky. Ooh.
I love the idea of a ghost